the co-host Jamie here today. Jamie, how you doing?
Doing all right. I'm excited to have Jeff on the show today.
Yep, same. Jeff, that's our other guy here. The founding father. I like to call him Dad. Maybe. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm not used to doing a show this early in the morning, but it's nice.
Hey, you got to wake up at some point. Got to
Yeah.
make sure you're ready to watch some football.
Yes, sir.
But with that in mind, there's not a lot of breaking news right now. We are still waiting currently for our start sit, or not for our start sits, but for who is hurt. Kind of waiting for those final statuses. As of right now, we have someone like Isaiah Pacheco and Aaron Jones as questionable. DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins, Puka Nacua, those guys are confirmed to be in. Irv Smith, as of right now, is doubtful. Jaylen Waddle, Bryce Young, Austin Eckler, and Anthony Richardson all out. And then Jamal Williams, of course, was moved to the IR after his injury last week. With that in mind, why don't we just dive right into some start sits real quick? We got one here. We got Jeff, I believe this is yours. We got that 12-team 1 QB. You want to break that down for us?
Yeah. So this is my home league actually, and it's 12-team 1 QB PPR, and I need a Jaylen Waddle replacement. The trick is here is if you get 1 point per 15 yards of kick and punt return yardage. Which makes this first option that I have here, Rashid Shaheed, a pretty interesting option because he does both kick and punt return. So he's one option to replace Waddle. I also have DJ Moore, and I threw out Kyle Pitts there because people are starting to say that he might have his breakout day today. It's not tight end premium, so I'm not too worried about that guy. It's more about DJ Moore or Rashid Shaheed. Between those two, who am I playing today?
I couldn't help but roll my eyes when I heard you talk about a Kyle Pitts breakout day. I have him in a few leagues. I'm hoping for it. Jamie, before I get any further into my opinions on this, thoughts on that? What would you be doing there?
I'd probably go DJ Moore just to play it safe. I know Field's been struggling, but I just think he's got to get going somehow.
Yeah, I think both option 2, DJ Moore, and option 3, Kyle Pitts, I think they both kind of apply within the same realm. We're waiting to see that production. It's a big name, a lot of talent, but a lot of concerns as to why they're not being fed the rock to the extent that we would like. I have a really hard time wanting to lean towards Rashid Shaheed there.
Let me add some reference points to how important the kick and punt return yardage is. Rashid Shaheed in week 1 in my league had 26.5 points, and in week 2 had 14.5 points. Because of the kick return yardage.
Just purely okay.
The kick return yardage in week 1 gave him 7 points, and the punt return yardage gave him 1.5. As that alone.
As our resident expert Packer in this show right now, I really do like the Packers special teams. I know they've got good coaching there, but if he's scoring that much just off kick returns, punt returns, I'm probably leaning with Rashid Shaheed, honestly, there. It seems just like the floor is so much safer. Obviously, yeah. I think DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, they have the higher ceiling if it's finally that week that we've all been hoping for. However, I think, kick and punt return, I like that for you. Jamie?
Yeah, right now I got them about 10 spots apart, but that's without the kick returns. Kansas City's, man, their secondary is not that great, but I still have DJ Moore ranked probably around the 35 to 40 range, and then Rashid Shaheed's probably like 40 to 45.
So
you figure in those, I would probably just go Shaheed.
So painful to hear DJ Moore's name ranked that low in any given. Can't help but laugh a little bit. We got our frequent flyer over here. We have Brittany asking a question for a start sit. She said, start Najee or Warren, 1 point PPR. Jamie, what are you thinking there?
Ooh, see, I don't want to trust Najee, man, but I'm giving him one more shot this week. But with the PPR, I think I would lean Warren because he's been more efficient, and he'll probably use him more in the passing game.
So what I'm gathering is we should maybe name third time's a charm. Maybe that's the name of this episode because all the guys we're thinking about playing, we're hoping week 3 is the week they finally push through those bad weeks. Jeff, what are your thoughts there with Najee and Warren?
So I got asked the same question in one of the other chats, and it's tough because there's definitely some things to look at with Jaylen Warren. He looks more explosive on the field. The eye test seems to lean towards Warren, but knowing the coach, Tomlin is a very stubborn guy. He likes to stick to one running back as much as he possibly can. I think there was one year, 2015-ish, where Rashad Mendenhall wasn't very efficient, but he just got all the work. And I think that's kind of where we are with Najee right now, where he's just going to continue to stick with him until Warren has a big breakout game. I think it's Najee's job to lose, and we can't really ignore the fact that he's going to get the volume. So I'm still going Najee. At least one more week of Najee.
I gotta say, I'm going Warren here. I mean, Najee is just it's whatever if there's an opposite of Viagra, that's Najee Harris for me in the fantasy football community. I don't remember. There was one show I was listening to not too long ago. They said in Najee's career entering this year, he only had one run of 20 or more yards. One.
Yeah, that's not good.
Pure volume guy. And that's where Warren's been impressive, 1 point PPR. I mean, I think they're both going to get some receptions. Definitely Najee's a safer floor, but Brittany, I would really kind of do some self-evaluation as in regards to the rest of my lineup. If I feel like I'm stacked elsewhere where I can play more of that risky gamble on Warren, then I'll go with that. But I feel like I need to play it safe at the running back position. I'm probably going to leave Najee in there. With that in mind, we do have another one. We have Josh. How are you doing, Josh? Good morning. Unfortunate situation. Ooh,
that's ugly.
Down bad. Damian Harris, Zach Charbonnet, or Craig Reynolds? Who'd take it away? Whoever wants. That's.
Can you leave the spot open? Wow, that is tough because Charbonnet. Before the season, I would have said Charbonnet hands down here, but he's not getting any work whatsoever. It's the Kenneth Walker show there. Craig Reynolds is a roll of dice because we don't know what his role is going to be. So I guess I'm leaning Damian Harris. I live here in Washington, D.C. That's where the game is going to be at. And, it's not raining here now, but it rained a ton yesterday. So it's going to be sort of a game where I think they're conservative. They're going to run the ball a little bit more. Maybe he falls into the end zone one or two times. So I'll take Damian Harris out of these three.
Is Latavius Murray available?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other names I might be trying to pick up off waivers for, even just one goal line snap that'll get a touchdown or something like that. I think that's where I'm leaning more in favor of Damian Harris. Jamie, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think Damian Harris is the best play just for the touchdown. I have them all ranked probably
RB7.
Way down in the 50s, 40s, 50s, but I don't see any of them getting more than 3, 4, 5 points unless they get a touchdown. So Damian Harris is going to be the one that has the better chance of getting a touchdown.
Josh, I want you to know I feel your pain, though. I've been there in more than one league, unfortunately. Hopefully whoever you got that's hurt right now, they're coming back soon. Or if it's Nick Chubb, unfortunately that's not happening. And now we have Daniel in the chat. Daniel saying pick a flex full PPR. Drake London, Mike Thomas, Sam Laporta, James Cook, Rashid White, or Tank Dell.
Wow, that's a lot of options there. I think.
Yeah, that just one flex.
One flex full PPR.
Those are some good names to have on the bench, though, too.
It really is. That's what's making it tough. It's like, on the surface, I'm sure you drafted Drake London higher than all those guys, and you want to say Drake London, but he has got one really bad game and then one really good game last week, so you don't know what you're going to get. I do think that the Detroit Lions are going to put some points up. I mean, they're probably going to have to pass more than they want to. However, Mr. Michael Thomas is a PPR machine. He's sort of been that way, through the first 2 weeks, as long as he can stay healthy. I think I might lean Michael Thomas, honestly, in this one.
Jamie?
Well, I just got to update. I think both Lions receivers are playing.
Okay. Yep. Amon-Ra St. Brown in, Josh Reynolds in, DeAndre Hopkins in. This is not what I wanted to read today. Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, David Bakhtiari, all out again.
Yep. Just saw the Christian Watson out. I don't know. That's tough, man, because I got James Cook, like about 15, 16 at running back. Thomas is top 20 at receiver. I'd go Thomas just for that PPR points.
Speaking of PPR, you know who I'm going here? James Cook. I've been impressed. I wasn't the biggest James Cook guy. I took him in a few leagues this offseason and some startups just because he's relatively cheap, and I think he underwhelmed in regards to the people that were higher on him last year. But so far I've really liked what I've seen there. I mean, I'm actually surprised how much they've been utilizing him. And I do like Mike Thomas as a secondary option, but I'm only in favor of James Cook there. But we got these two gentlemen saying Mike Thomas, and then myself with James Cook. Then we have Brittany in the chat again. Josh Reynolds or Jerry Jeudy?
Wow, that's tough because Jeudy, like, if you just looked at that, like, before the start of the season, it was Jeudy hands down. It wasn't even a question. Josh Reynolds, you probably wasn't even in your lineup, but Josh Reynolds has looked good through 2 weeks. But that upside with Jeudy in that game environment versus Miami, they're going to throw the ball a ton. I think I'm going Jeudy on this one.
Jamie?
Yeah, I got Jeudy a little bit higher, probably separated by like 2-3 points. But I do love Reynolds this week. I got him in a lot of my lineups, but I just can't sit Jeudy for him.
I am probably going to play Jeudy rather than Reynolds. However, I also think this could be the week that Russell Wilson's benched.
Ooh,
really?
Really?
We were talking. Yeah, I know in our show sheet I had just strong opinions, kind of like one firm take we have this week, and Russell Wilson has been anything but inspiring on the field.
Last week he was good. He was good last week. 30 points is a pretty good week.
Yeah, when it's a Hail Mary that's fumbled and bumbled over 8 defenders and
take
touchdown.
how you can get.
No, it's been ugly. And Sean Payton's not the type of guy that'll be complacent, just sit around with that. So I am nervous there as someone that has Russell Wilson in a super flex league or two. And but with that in mind, I'm still going to play Jeudy while I have him because I feel like I want to say it's safer, but Josh Reynolds might actually be the safer play here.
Yeah,
it feels so wrong.
Yeah, he has looked really good. I got a really ugly one for y'all since we just got the Aaron Jones news.
Yeah,
I'm looking at my lineup right now, so I'm literally going to put whatever guy y'all decide. I'm going to put him in my lineup.
Yep.
So these are my options. This is an all 22 league, meaning that we start 22. We got 11 offensive players, 11 defensive players. So it gets real ugly really quick on the bench. But my options to replace Aaron Jones in the flex is Allen Robinson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Curtis Samuel, or Jake Ferguson, and it is tight end premium. It's pretty brutal, right?
Yeah, I like Jake, but they also use Schoonmaker a lot. They even use that third stringer as well. I mean, they use them all, and I get it. But Jamie, thoughts here?
So what were the first two options again?
Allen Robinson, Juju Smith-Schuster,
Okay,
Curtis Samuel, and Jake Ferguson.
It's between Juju and Allen for me. I actually had that same dilemma, and I threw in Allen Robinson.
All right, that's what we're doing. We're going Allen Robinson. It's ugly. Good.
Yeah. Right. It's hard to feel good about any of those. I have one as well, but before I get into that, let's address what Daniel is asking in the Facebook chat right now. General question: is it better to have players from the same team on your roster, or two players from the same team on your roster? Example: I have JJ and Hawk. Also have St. Brown and Laporta.
I mean, those guys, yeah, I like it. But if you had like Hunter Henry and Juju, that's not something you want.
I would agree, Jeff.
Yeah, I think in this case, both those guys are good to have because the targets in those offenses are very condensed. You know, it's JJ, Hawk, and then everybody else in that offense. I know Addison's kind of shown up a little bit. He's not getting a ton of targets. He's just making big plays. Same thing with the other one. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta. We just mentioned Reynolds is getting a little bit of work as well, but very condensed targets. And I think those offenses both are good enough to support those guys. So yeah, I would think those guys in particular. But like Jamie said, there's some teams that you don't want to have two options for. So those ones are good ones to have, though.
Absolutely. I would say it's very situational with that question, Daniel. It really matters, the type of offense, the weapons in that offense. I'm really picky about it, but some teams it doesn't even need to necessarily be high-octane offenses, but I look at something like the Packers where there hasn't been a consistent number one at this point. So someone like Reed and Dobbs, I enjoy that. Or, Dobbs and Musgrave. Since there's not a clear number one established where all that volume is clearly going one direction, I feel more comfortable with it. And Daniel says, thanks for your help. It's always great show. Appreciate it, Daniel.
Thanks, Daniel.
And then we've got Josh over here. He says, stick with Goddard or go Hunter Henry.
That's easy for me. I'm in a couple leagues with Josh, and if you're playing me, go with Hunter Henry. But if not, I would stick with Goddard. I have him top 10, top 8. Play tight end, and Hunter Henry's down like 15 to 20s.
Yeah, it makes it tough because Goddard has not been very good the first couple of weeks. But I think I'm still leaning Goddard because of the potential of that offense there. They are playing Tampa Bay. So yeah, give me Goddard here.
I kind of have the three strikes and you're out philosophy. I try not to panic with any player too early in the season. I try not to get too excited either. I really just try and evaluate the fluctuation of the market. So if I can buy someone cheaper when I still might believe and they haven't shown it yet, I'll go capitalize. Someone like Goddard, I would think of there. I'm going to trust that at some point he's going to produce like we've seen him produce so much. I mean, it's a great offense. He's got a great quarterback, great offensive line, all that in mind. So, I mean, you took Goddard early enough, I'm assuming in your format or whatever format that league is, where you should realistically be riding him out because Hunter Henry hasn't necessarily been that exciting or inspiring on the field.
Yeah, I think Devonta Smith's not 100% either. And then when I looked at their slot versus wide, the slot receivers don't get many points against that defense, so they could use Goddard more with A.J. Brown.
And then we've got Brittany again. She's asking Goddard or Laporta.
Oh, that's tough, man. I got them both top 8, but I think I got Laporta 2 spots higher. It was tough, man. I mean, you can flip-flop that.
I'm doing Laporta.
Yeah, go Laporta.
I'm going Laporta as well here. As much as I like Goddard, and I think he can have a good game today, I really like Laporta. I got him in a lot of my DFS lineups today as well. So
here's one for you that I'm dealing. Pitts or Laporta?
Laporta,
definitely Laporta.
That's what I have. The most painful part was I actually benched Pitts for Laporta last week, and while Laporta wasn't necessarily great, produced Pitts, and that kind of hurt my soul a little bit, knowing that this guy I took in the 3rd round of a rookie draft in May this year is outproducing my star tight end that I paid a lot for at one point. So that one hurt my soul a little bit, but yeah, Sam looks great out there.
I think Pitts does it a little bit today. He does play a lot in the slot, and against that defense, 55% of the targets go to the slot. So it could be his breakout game. I don't know.
Would you do – question for you. Would you do – I'm trying to decide right now. We've got Tony Jones. This is for a flex spot. Tony Jones, Tank Dell, or Kyle Pitts?
Not Tony
Jones or Dell?
It's probably Tank Dell. I mean, he had 10 targets last week. You can't sneeze at that. That's probably more than Pitts has all season. He had it in one game.
And honestly, in that, I already have Nico Collins in that starting lineup, and I have C.J. Stroud. So why not load up?
Go for the whole stack.
Yep.
I mean, he's been throwing, 40, 45 times a game?
Yep. Yeah. Watch it go to anyone but those two guys, and Stroud throw like 4 picks. I have Zach Wilson as my other quarterback this week in that league, so
it'll be a Dalton Schultz week.
Yeah, exactly. The week it's overdue after I took him out of my lineups in a few leagues.
All right, so I actually got one. I didn't write it down, but it's for a tournament-style league. It's Josh Reynolds or Elijah Moore.
It's Josh Reynolds for me.
Yeah, that's who I got in right now.
And it comes down to the quarterback. We talk about it on my DFS show Friday nights at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Little plug there. On the DFS show on Friday nights, home golf. If you look at Goff's home and away splits, he's a different quarterback, and he's playing at home today. So it's Josh Reynolds for me.
Yeah, so in this league, I also have St. Brown. So would you mind playing Reynolds and St. Brown?
Yeah.
I have no issue with that.
Yeah. Cool. No issues playing both.
That's one of those offenses where I'd really actually prefer to have 2 weapons. And I think back to our question earlier from Daniel about, having 2 players on the same offense. It's not a bad thing at all with any team, but there's certain teams where absolutely the more opportunities you can have, the better. I mean, there's certain ones where I have Tyreek and Jaylen Waddle along with Tua. Yeah, it's a lot of Dolphins, but guess what? pretty much every time they score, I'm fist pumping, knowing someone's doing something for me.
Yep, absolutely.
No,
we did have one more piece of breaking news. It's minor, but in case you were thinking about playing Cam Akers today, he was ruled out. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you were desperate and thinking about playing Cam Akers, he's not playing today.
And then another breaking news: Chargers sign CB J.C. Jackson, 5 years, $82.5 million.
It's a lot of money. I'll
Yep.
take some of that.
That is a lot of money.
Or for example, I'm down bad right now in this one league with my second flex spot. And I have Watson, I have Dobbs, and I have Reed. And so now that Watson's out, I'm going to put Dobbs and Reed in my 2 flex spots.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily feel I like both as prospects and as players. I don't necessarily feel great that they'll both produce, but I want to have both options there rather than trying to pick one and then having it bite me in the ass. What are your thoughts on Chig? He hasn't really seen the volume at all this year.
Yeah, I'm kind of out on Chig. I was kind of out on Chig even before the season. I wasn't one of the ones that was buying Chig everywhere. I just thought that offense was going to be very good, and so far it hasn't been. I think he'll have his weeks. He'll have, because he's an athletic tight end. He's going to break one of these times, but good luck trying to figure that when it is. He's not getting enough volume to put him into my lineup, week in and week out. So yeah, I'm avoiding Chig.
Yeah, that one hurts. I mean, that was one of my Mr. Irrelevant guys I was taking in rookie drafts last year, so I'm a little bit more sentimental there, but I was really hoping that he could progress into me considering putting him in and having to bench my other tight end at some point. But as of right now, it reminds me of Trey McBride, where it's just kind of a exciting young prospect on my bench that I really don't want to turn to at all.
Yeah, he's frustrating me too because I love McBride and I was convinced that Zach Ertz would not make it back to the season in time, and now he's back and he's like leading all tight ends in targets. It's so frustrating. I don't understand it.
It's literally my nightmare as a Trey McBride guy. He's so good too. I mean, I do find that speaking of McBride, it's very intriguing to me how I understand there is a lot of excitement with the tight end class, but people so quickly just kind of forgot that Trey McBride was a second-round pick, and he was the star prized tight end for his draft class.
Yep.
And just 1 year being behind Zach Ertz, who's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, right?
Pretty close, yeah.
Or around or like on the fringe. But yeah, it's not an insult to be benched behind him, But I think the stocks are down, so that's a guy if you want to buy for cheap on them.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought I had a better. Oh no.
What's wrong?
Just down bad in a few leagues. Jeez, these injuries just keep piling up. Because I didn't have as many start-sit questions as I thought I was going to have this week due to a lot of my guys being questionable. But a lot of those questionable guys were Christian Watson, Aaron Jones. And now we're doing a lot of start-sit stuff. Let's see. I have my flexes on this team. I have Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, and Puka Nacua. I could potentially have 3 new flex in there. Question for you: if obviously I have to take Jones and Watson out of the lineup, I have Joshua Kelly. I have Edwards-Helaire. I have Dalvin Cook.
It's Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
It's
Jaden Reed.
Oh, Josh. Yeah, I think I'll go Josh Kelly over Reed. I like both.
What about, so you can pick 2 there. So yeah, I got Joshua Kelly, Dalvin Cook, Jaden Reed, or CEH.
Yeah, it's Reed and Kelly for me.
Okay.
Agreed. Reed and Kelly.
So last week I was sitting Kelly, telling people to sit him. I didn't think he would score more than 3 to 4 points against that defense, but this week I've been starting him everywhere.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are 27th DVOA versus the run. Kelly is a very chalky play in DFS this week. He's very cheap, and I think he has a much better game. We're calling him the post-chalk sleeper because he was a chalk last week. This week, I think he has a big game this week.
I like everyone's forgetting about him already. Beautiful. It's right where you want him. Question as well. How are we feeling about Josh Allen in the matchup versus Washington? Jeff, I know you are in that area. Obviously not a Commanders fan. Thank God.
Yeah.
I would definitely be giving you a hard time about that. But do you think Josh Allen's going to have a good game today? Big performance, or is it going to be relatively?
So I think he'll have a good game this week. I mentioned the sloppy field, but Josh Allen can run the ball as well, so I think he gets some stuff with his legs. But at the same time, I do still like, if you're playing defenses, especially if you're playing DFS, I still like the Commanders' defense as well, because he can have a big game and still have turnovers. I think that's what's going to happen today. He'll put up some big points, but that Commanders' defense is pretty good, and they're going to cause turnovers. They'll be in Josh Allen's face all day today. So I do think that there's some potential for the Commanders' defense to still play well, and Josh Allen to also have a good game. So I'm playing both of them.
Would you play Josh Allen versus Washington or Jared Goff versus Atlanta?
I still go Josh Allen there. I love home golf, and it's the joke on the DFS show all the time whenever he's at home that we pick him to do well for the DFS show. But you drafted Josh Allen high, you got to roll with him.
Yeah, that's how I viewed it too. Question is, another one. Aaron Jones and Christian Watson, both of my flexes of this one too.
It's because you're a Packers fan, man. You got to stop with that.
Or it's funny though. I really don't like to have players from my favorite team. I have a lot of Christian Watson.
He doesn't show.
Yeah, it's like the 3 leagues that I guess I have Aaron Jones and a few more this year. He was so cheap. No one wanted him. They treated him like an old sack of shit, and I was like, okay, he's still going to be really productive running back this year. So I have 2 flex spots, PPR. We've got Allen Robinson, and it's a tight end premium. So keep that in mind with the tight ends I'm about to give you. But it's Allen Robinson, Tank Dell, Marvin Mims, Kmet, Schultz, or Musgrave. So I'll give you the 3 wide receivers again first. So Allen Robinson, Tank Dell, Marvin Mims. How are we feeling about those 3 first off?
I'd go Dell.
Yeah, I have Dell there as well. I have Dell in my DFS lamps today because, like I said, he had 10 targets last week. We know the story that Stroud wanted them to go draft Tank Dell, which they did. Obviously, they have a connection. They were, roommates in camp, the whole 9. They're like peas in a pod right now. So I think, when Stroud needs to find somebody, he's looking Tank Dell's way.
And then in regards to tight ends, then Musgrave, Kmet, Schultz. We like any of those, or would we rather go Marvin Mims, Allen Robinson?
Tight end premium.
Yeah, it's a tight end premium. So I mean, Kmet, Musgrave, and Schultz, they're all kind of the same thing to
all
me
over the same area. I lean Kmet only because I think the Bears are going to have to throw the ball to keep up with Kansas City. Yeah. And Kmet, I think he has 7 or 8 targets, or maybe even 6 targets per game. He's the one guy that Justin Fields seems to be looking for when he drops back to pass. So, and he's also the red zone threat because we know DJ Moore is not that. So I think Kmet could catch a touchdown today, catch 4 passes, 50 yards, and he's good to go.
How brutal has it been for the Bears so far this year?
So ugly. And you love it.
It's off. Oh, I hate it. I hate to see it, especially living out here. It makes me so sad, can't you tell? Just smiling from ear to ear over here.
I got a couple more starts in the show sheet.
Okay, let's go through your Scott Fishbowl one first and foremost. Oh, this is actually from the Equinox FF on Discord, and that's Breece Hall or Jaylen Warren.
Yeah, what a tough question, right? I mean, Breece Hall had 4 carries last week, and if you were asking this question at any point preseason, you'd be crazy to even think about it. I think I'm giving Breece Hall another week because we talked about this on our DFS show again. The squeaky wheel gets greased, and Breece Hall came out and complained about getting only 4 carries in a game. After he had a pretty good week 1. I mean, he broke that 80-some-yard run. He didn't score. We think he probably would have scored if he was fully healthy. But to only get 4 carries last week was ridiculous. So I think they go, oh, wait a minute. We got Breece Hall. We'll get him the ball this week. So I'm going back to Breece Hall.
You think that'll help him get volume this week, or do you think that'll make Salah want to give more reps to Dalvin?
I think usually the squeaky wheel gets greased when you got star players. Now, if this was like Joe Schmo, 3rd string tight end complaining, yeah, you're getting benched, buddy. But when you're Breece Hall, and you're complaining about your touches, you're going to get your touches the next week.
Yeah, I'm looking at my team right now in the league. I have Brees Hall as my starter. I could put Kendra over him, but I'm not. But I would also play Kendra over Warren. So I would go Hall.
Okay, you go Hall. I would go Warren. Brees Hall hurt my feelings last week in a couple leagues, and he got 2 strikes in the same week, so he's already out. He doesn't need a 3rd strike this week. He's done.
I'm gonna steal a line from I can't think of the name of the show now. What's the show with the coach that goes to coach soccer?
Oh, Ted Lasso.
Yeah, Ted Lasso. I'm gonna steal a line from there. Be a goldfish. You got to forget about last week. You got to just play Brees Hall again.
Yeah, next you're going to say, you're not going to say anything. You just want to tap a piece of paper that says "Believe" above the door.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it. No, I would for the Equinox FF, I'm going to go Jaylen Warren there. You can't go wrong with Brees, especially something like Scott Fishbowl. You spent a lot more, so I get it. Obviously, for me, who doesn't have Brees in a lot of leagues, wasn't necessarily the highest on him this year. I think that's where it's easier for me to jump off the boat with him. But that's where, you had to take him relatively early in the Scott Fishbowl, so you want to give him another chance while you can. Before we get on to the next one on our show sheet, we have Roger in the chat right now. First is, okay, so Roger, your first one.
Didn't show up.
We don't have it. But we got a second one from you, and that is full PPR. Brian Robinson or Zach Moss? I'm going B-Rob. I'll just say that right now. Jamie.
Yeah, I love Robinson, man. Luckily, Ryan Searfoss got me onto him closer to the end of the draft season, so I got a lot of them, and he's just been amazing.
Yeah, I'm going B-Rob as well. I do get the Zach Moss thing because he's going to get a lot of touches too in that game as well. But I think the Commanders, in this sloppy situation, and they got one of the worst fields in the NFL. I know Pittsburgh's a close second. I always joke with my friends who are Commanders fans that whenever my team plays here, I just hope we come out healthy because this field seems to claim more injuries than anybody else. But because of that, I think a lot of the speed guys that are going to be on the field aren't going to be as effective. But Brian Robinson's the guy that, in a game like that, you can give him the ball and just let it be sloppy. It'll probably be super inefficient. He'll probably have like 20 carries for like 80 yards, so it won't be great. But he can get that touchdown and pay off for you.
And he has been catching passes lately, so that's a good sign.
Yep.
He's been really productive relative to where you were able to get him in a lot of startups and an even redraft.
Yep.
With that in mind, no, Roger didn't put the other part in there yet. But before we go to the next one on the show sheet, I do have one of my own that I'm curious about as well. This one hurts my soul. It's just down bad. Schultz, it's not a tight end premium, so that makes this even worse. It makes it Musgrave, Schultz, Claypool, or Robert Woods.
Yuck.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like I said, it's not a fun one.
It's like a start 25 league.
Hey, this is the league I'm in with both of you guys.
Oh. Well, in that case, start Claypool.
Yeah, Claypool it is.
I'm not playing either of you.
Oh, yeah. That's tough, man. It's between Musgrave and Schultz, I think.
Yeah. What was the fourth option? It was Claypool, Schultz, Musgrave, and who's
Woods. Robert Woods.
Robert Woods actually hasn't been that bad, right? I mean, he's got
no, he hasn't been.
Yeah. Who does Houston plays Jacksonville, right?
Yes. No. Oh, wait. No, where was he? He was on the Rams. Robert
Hold
Woods.
on. Robert Woods?
Yeah.
He's on the Rams? Are you
No,
sure?
or no. He used to be. I thought you were. Yeah.
Rams.
Yeah. No, he's on.
No, so who's he playing today? What's his matchup?
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking me where he used to be. I was like, what? No, yeah, he's playing against Jacksonville. At Jacksonville too.
So there's going to be a ton of passes in there, I think. I think I'm going Robert Woods, honestly. I think, Stroud has thrown 40 or more passes in both his first 2 games, and I see no reason why he won't throw 40-plus again today. So, yeah, give me Robert Woods in this one.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I do mind it. That.
When you have those options, though, I mean, it's we always say you can't go wrong either way. Yeah, you can go wrong always on those 4 players.
Yeah, and that's the funny part, too, is talking about those start sits right there, you wouldn't think, including our matchup against the median every week, you wouldn't think that team's 4-0 right now. But thank God for Puka. With that, first off, also Roger Abelos, if I said that correct. Sorry if I did not. You did mean to ask another question in the chat earlier, and it did not show. So if you want to type that in there again, please feel free to do so while we address this next one from our show sheet. This was from Killer Chris on Discord. Damian Pierce or Jerome Ford? Jeff, what are you thinking?
So I was a huge Damian Pierce guy coming into the season.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I was loving it. And so far through the first couple of games,
drugs are bad.
Yeah, it's looking a little ugly. However, Damian Pierce is still getting the full workload there. I think he had some tough matchups to start those 2 weeks. Jerome Ford is playing against the second best run defense in the league, DVOA. I've told everybody that's in DFS to not play Jerome Ford this week because he is chalk. He's cheap. But I think he's going to end up getting like almost nothing. I actually took the under on him in one of my underdog bets. So I'm going to go back to the well and go Damian Pierce one more time here and hope that he can break out finally.
Yeah. Jamie?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I think I would go Pierce because I just don't want to sit. I don't want to start Ford. I'm in a similar situation, but I got a few other options, but we can get into that later. But yeah, go Pierce.
It's the same philosophy as always. You use that draft equity to get Pierce a lot earlier than someone like Ford, and I don't know what that type of production will be like. Chubb just got hurt, so we haven't really had an opportunity to see what that's going to look like. Plus, Kareem Hunt's out today, or no, Kareem Hunt's playing today.
Kareem Hunt's playing today,
yeah. So that's also a concern. That I would go in favor of Damian Pierce. I don't like Damian Pierce at all. I'm not a fan of him, but I'm one to play him. I hate to say it, but yep. And I would still rather have both of those guys to consider for a flex spot than the previous starts that I just gave you with one of my teams.
Robert Woods, for sure.
Yeah, as I'm criticizing it, I'm like, shit, I'd rather have Jerome Ford than Robert Woods in there. And let's move on to the other one from Discord as well. This is a 1 QB PPR from Tony. And Jaylen Warren, Tajay Spears, or Kendre Miller. Jamie?
It's between Warren and Miller for me. I'm rolling Miller out there. I got him in a few leagues. I just think they're going to see what they got in them. Week before Kamara comes back. So this is his one shot just to show him what they have. So, yeah, I would go Miller.
Jeff?
Yeah, I think I'm with Miller as well. I think he's going to get the lead role. I know that they have Tony Jones there and had like 2 touchdowns last week, so everybody's all excited about it. But, because they had no one else to give the ball to. I don't think Tony Jones is that good. I think Miller was drafted for a reason. The only reason why he hasn't played the first 2 weeks is health. By all accounts, he's fully healthy. He had 2 full practices this week. So I think Kendre Miller, it's wheels up. And I think he's their goal line guy too. He's an in between tackles runner. He's a big guy. So when they get down and close, they're giving him the ball. So give me Kendre Miller here.
Yep.
I love Kendre Miller there. I'm really excited to see him. I'm a little concerned for how it'll look going forward because I do think Kamara just going to push him way back down the depth chart once he's done with the suspension, and I believe that's actually next week, right? Wasn't it 3 games for Kamara?
Yeah, he'll be back next week.
Yep. So this is where this will be a nice little sample size for Kendre, though. Obviously, he was hurt the first 2 weeks and not playing, so it'll be good to see him get that opportunity, and hopefully he can at least get a little bit of a workload going forward when Kamara's back.
I love Miller's talent, man. Like, you know how much I love Roshan. I was drafting Miller over Roshan in Dynasty.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about Roshan right now.
Well, I actually have a Roshan question.
Before you give me the Roshan one, Justin Pierce is in the chat right now saying Lamar Jackson or Dak Prescott? Jeff?
Wow, that's a tough decision to make right there. I think it's Lamar Jackson, rushing upside, and there's a possibility that Prescott's not even playing in the fourth quarter because of the matchup he's got against the Cardinals. So yeah, give me Lamar Jackson here.
Jamie?
Yeah, if the weather's not bad out in Baltimore anymore, I would go Lamar. Plus, he's got that rushing upside. But I do love Prescott this week. I've been playing him in my DFS lineups. But yeah, between those two, I would go Lamar.
Dak hasn't been very exciting in regards to fantasy football this year. I believe 2 passing touchdowns so far in 2 weeks. Not really the volume I was hoping to see. And as much as I'm not necessarily a Lamar guy, I have been fairly impressed with his production and what he's been doing on the field so far this year. So I'd lean in favor of Lamar for your quarterback. With that in mind, Jamie, you were talking about a Roshan.
Yeah, so this is a flex. I go with Roshan, Antonio Gibson, Cortland Sutton, or I could just throw Laporta in there.
Okay, give me that again. So it's Laporta, Antonio Gibson,
Cortland Sutton,
okay,
Roshan.
It's between Laporta and Roshan for me. Jeff, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I have a decision too where I was trying to decide on Roshan or not, and I know his volume has slowly increased, and he's sort of relegated Donta Foreman to being a healthy scratch. I just don't know if this is his week. I think it's going to be at least one more week before you see him fully take over that role. But not going Laporta. I think I'm going Sutton, actually. I think Sutton has looked solid. He's not been amazing. He's not going to give you that huge upside, but he's looked solid so far through the first few weeks. So I'll take Sutton here.
All right, I'm putting Sutton in.
I want to go Roshan this week. I really do, but it hurts. Yeah, the Bears just scare me right now. I mean,
the only positive though is they'll probably be playing from behind. Roshan is the hurry up offense type pass catching back. So, but Kansas City, I don't think they allow many passes to the running back, and plus Justin Fields don't throw many passes to the running back. So
and Justin Fields came out and said he's going to play instinctual, which basically means I'm running the damn ball. So Roshan's not going to get it on those checkdowns.
He's going to run the damn ball over to a Dunkin' Donuts. I was driving past a whole bunch of Justin Fields billboards on the way back from O'Hare today. I just don't trust the Bears at all right now. It's just been awful. I do have one for you as well. Tyler Algier or Darnell Mooney for a flex. It's PPR.
Y'all are making me sick this morning, seriously, with some of these sit starts. Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
I'd probably tell all the players to quit getting hurt, and I wouldn't have to deal with this.
Yeah. Wow. Tyler Algier or Darnell Mooney. I think it's probably Tyler Algier. He has a role in that offense. Darnell Mooney's role, unfortunately, is catching passes, and Justin Fields is not throwing any good passes anybody's way. So I'll take Tyler Algier.
Yeah, same here. Even in a part-time role, he'll probably get more work than Mooney.
Now, Mooney can have one catch, 60 yards and a touchdown and beat that, but you're betting on that. I'd take Algier in the situation.
I have Algier in it. It doesn't feel good. Yeah. It's hard to feel any sort of way about that one. Jamie, do you have any other start sits?
I think I got one.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Pierce, Kendra, Ford, or Roshan.
Give me that again.
Pacheco, Damian Pierce, Ford, which I'll just leave him out, Roshan or Kendra.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a dynasty league. I'm pretty stacked.
Are you and you only can play one of them?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going Pierce just because you hate Pierce, and I just want you to start him to one.
I don't hate him. I just didn't think he was going to get the volume.
I hate him. Roshan. I think Roshan.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't like depending on rookies. Even if we've seen a couple of fun weeks off the bat, I still don't know if that was just one fun, exciting week as he's getting his feet wet in the NFL, or if that's going to be consistent production. So it was both Kendra Miller and Roshan were the rookies there, and then you said the other two were Pierce and Ford. Then
Pierce and Ford. Yeah,
I got to lean on. I hate him, but I still think that's a responsible pick there. I mean, I think early in the season, I do not like depending on rookies for production. It really has to be an outlier. And I mean, I love Roshan, I love Kendra Miller, but I don't necessarily want to rely on them, and I don't know how high of a floor they have as of right now. That is.
That question in the chat there has got to be a DFS question, right? Because nobody has those 3 tight ends.
Yeah.
If you do,
I mean, I have something similar. I have Kittle, Waller, and Andrews.
I don't know. Kelsey, Hockenson, and Andrews, those are the top 3 tight ends. You'd have had to go on tight end in the first 3 rounds.
Right now, Waller's going to be up there soon enough.
I don't know. After
That's what I keep telling myself. That's a lovely. I hope that's tight end premium. I hope it's dynasty, because that is just rude. If you have all 3 of those even in a redraft, I don't care what the format is. Really, you're going to kick some serious ass with those.
But this week, would you go Hockenson or Andrews?
I'm going to go Andrews. I already lean into being in on Lamar this week. So I think that's where I'm going to go in favor of Andrews. But, Hockenson has looked good in Minnesota. It's just my concern is, what is that game going to look like? It is 2 0-2 teams, and now neither have been necessarily what we hoped or expected. So I'm going to lean in favor of Andrews. Jeff?
I'm going Hockenson. This game has the highest Vegas total on the slate, 43.5 currently. It's been going up. Kirk Cousins is the chalk in DFS because he's going to throw passes all over the field. And I mentioned before how these targets are consolidated to a couple targets. JJ and Hockenson will get a lot of the targets. And I think, the Baltimore Ravens, despite losing Dobbins, want to run the ball. So the Vikings don't. So the Vikings are going to throw the ball all over the field. So give me Hawk and Kelsey.
Jamie?
Flip a coin, honestly. But yeah, I don't know, man. I like Zay Flowers this week, but I also like Jefferson and Addison. But yeah, I'm going to go Andrews. Give me Andrews, because he'll probably be the leading target, maybe second on the team.
Yeah.
I am making another one right now. I'm putting it in the chat just kind of for an easier frame of mind as we discuss this one. It is in Mike Williams, more specifically. But as of right now, Mike Williams, Mike Evans, A.J. Dillon, or Amari Cooper. PPR. I have two flex spots. As of right now, I have Mike Evans and Mike Williams in there, but I have A.J. Dillon, who's now going to be the RB1 this week, but he was very unimpressive, if I must say, last week. And then also Amari Cooper.
I pick 2?
Yep, I got to pick 2, and I got to be honest, my thoughts going into this one was, I haven't been impressed with Deshaun with the Browns offense. I haven't been impressed with A.J. Dillon when getting a bigger workload with the Packers. And I know Mike Evans has Baker Mayfield, but they haven't looked as bad as anticipated. And, I expect the Chargers to be slinging the rock around today. So with that in mind, thoughts, gentlemen?
Go ahead, Jamie. You go first.
I was going to say, I got Mike Williams, surprisingly, in my top 10 with Keenan Allen there also. So Williams for sure. I think I'm going to go Cooper just because the defense they're playing. That's how they just funnel the secondary. They just throw it all day on them.
Can Deshaun throw it anymore?
We're going to see today, man. I wasn't on him last week or the week before. I even called him a bust on the cheat sheet a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I'm going Mike and Mike. I'm going with Mike Williams, Mike Evans. I've already mentioned the Chargers Vikings game being a shootout potential here with the 53.5 point spread. So, and Williams is a popular daily fantasy play as well. Everyone seems to be on Williams. He's looked good through the first couple of weeks. That's going to be a game where there's going to be a ton of scoring. And then it is between Evans and Cooper on the other two. And Cooper, I know he had that injury and then he came out and he looked actually pretty good supposedly. But Baker Mayfield looks surprisingly competent in that offense. And people are like, Mike Evans is going to struggle because he's got a bad quarterback. Go back and look at Mike Evans' history of quarterbacks. Trust me, Baker Mayfield is probably number 2 on that list behind Tom Brady. So it's Baker Mayfield is doing his thing. Evans could have had a third touchdown. He dropped one in I think week 1. And Evans has looked all the part. He's going to have this 1,000-yard season again this year. So I'll go Evans and Williams here.
I like it. Now I'll definitely, I'm going to stick with Mike and Mike. But I also could put A.J. Dillon in as one of my 2 running backs. I have DeAndre Swift against Tampa Bay on Monday night, or Travis Etienne. DeAndre Swift, and then A.J. Dillon.
Well,
I,
ETN's locked in. I'm not changing
yep,
ETN.
yep.
I think it comes down between Dillon and who was the other one? Oh, Swift.
Yeah, and I have, because I want to hope, I want that there's some sort of maintaining what happened last week. I don't think it's going to be as big, but I think you just look at the workloads when the injuries happen, and Dillon got an increased workload, Swift got an increased workload, and it was 2 very different kind of performances. So.
Yeah, the only thing is Kenny Gainwell is back. He's healthy. So what does he do to Swift? And I know, like, common sense, all this thing. Oh, Swift had this huge game. Of course, they're going to go back to Swift to this week, but it's the freaking Eagles.
I was going to say they don't care.
They don't care. So
he could have rushed for 5 yards on 20 carries last week, and he'd probably still get the same workload they're going to give him this week.
Yeah, so it puts a little bit of a thing in there, but I think I roll Swift one more week. I don't think I can take him out after the week he had last week.
And I think it's just tough to turn towards A.J. Dillon. And I must say, on the subject of A.J. Dillon real quick, for any of you playing Dynasty, I would look at selling him now. If whatever you can get, if someone needs a running back, I'd be looking to try and push him, and maybe mentioning the aspect of he's the backup to an aging running back that's probably cut after the year due to his high hit on the salary cap next year. But he just hasn't flourished when being given more of a workload. Every time he gets the opportunity, I thought A.J. Dillon, last year was the prove it year for me. And I was really unsatisfied when he got out there and he, started getting more volume. And I don't think Green Bay saw that too. That's why they're going to use him in the Jonathan Taylor trade, by the way.
Real quick, I got a funny tweet from Marcus G on Twitter. They're showing a video of Kirk Cousins arriving to the stadium, dressed up like a dad. Basically, he's got like khaki shorts on and like a button down, and he says Kirk Cousins is going to throw 4 touchdowns and then hop in the minivan and go stop and get milk and eggs on his way home.
I like it. Oh, Jamie, you put this one in here as well. Miles Sanders or JSN? Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. The rest of my roster is pretty stacked, so this is my final one.
Miles Sanders, based on the fact that he is getting volume. JSN has that upside, though, and I really like JSN until I heard that DK Metcalf was definitely playing. JSN could have his breakout today. So it depends if you need floor or ceiling. If you need ceiling, go JSN. If you just need floor, then go Miles Sanders.
I mean, the rest of my roster, it's I got Kirk Cousins and Dak, Kenneth Walker, James Cook, Lamb, Olave, Higgins, Andrews, Michael Pittman. So I need either Sanders or JSN.
I'm probably just going to go Sanders off of the floor. I'm assuming being higher, just simply off him getting a couple carries. I feel a little bit more comfortable there than, turning towards JSN. And Jeff, are you there? Oh, okay. There he is. He's back. All right.
I was Madison. My only league, I have Madison. I couldn't sell him. Damian Pierce and Roschon, but
Jeff, I was just saying how I'd be going in favor of Miles Sanders. They're just purely off of what I think will be a higher floor.
Yeah,
just assuming the workload for a running back, he's going to get at least a few carries, even if they're feeding DeAndre Swift. And I would expect 50-50 at worst. I don't think it's just going to be Swift just eating it all up now after, a week of. I keep thinking of Kenny Gainwell, though. I'm just used to Miles Sanders being an Eagle. It hurts me. It hurts me. Every time as I was saying it, I'm like, wait a second. It's not the olden days anymore. They don't have 3 or 4 big name running backs, and they just have 2.
I got one on Twitter here from Scott Sebastian.
Here, give me a second before you do that one, though, please. We got Roger in the chat right now.
Go ahead.
Full PPR, play 2. Rashad White, Miles Sanders, Zach Moss, Najee Harris.
Jamie, you take this one first.
I don't like Zach Moss, but I think I would start him. And probably Najee, man. Just that one last chance. But, this one's tough.
It is very tough because, all those guys have sort of negative marks against them, but they all have, ways where you can see them being, really good this week. I think I'm going Zach Moss based on volume alone because he's going to get all the carries in that offense.
With AR out. Yep.
Yep.
And then the other one, it's between, oh man, all three of them really.
Why not? Why not go with Sanders Moss and say, screw it, I'm going to ride the rookie QBs out this week, and they're just going to be feeding them.
Yeah, I mean that definitely. I think Harris has probably the most upside of those four.
Yeah.
But Sanders and Moss are going to get all the work. So yeah, they're probably the easiest floor plays to take there.
Wait, is Bryce Young playing today?
He is not.
No.
He's out.
He's out 1 to 2 weeks.
It's Andy Dalton.
Yep.
And Jeff, you had one on Twitter. You were asking
from Scott Sebastian on Twitter at SEF Medic. He's got Aaron Jones out. You know, common theme of the show today. His options are his PPR. It's his flex. He's got either Gus Edwards or I'm assuming this is Drake London. Gus Edwards or Drake London in his flex with Jones out.
I'm going Drake London.
Yeah, London all day over Edwards.
I just got to try. You were so. If you have Drake London, you had to spend a lot to get him, whether it was in startup, whether it was via trade, what have you. You had to invest a lot to have him on your roster, and with that in mind, you still got to give him another chance this week. Come back next week. My mind will probably be different. That's the old 3-strike policy. Roger says thank you, by the way, as well. But no, I'm going to lean on Drake London another week. Jamie, it sounded like you're agreeing there.
Yeah, totally.
Jeff, you as well?
Yeah. I'm going London for sure.
With that in mind, real quick, I just wanted to say that whoever you're picking this week, make sure to lock it in on Underdog with the code GF2. Underdog is currently giving one free mystery pick'em special to new users on top of a deposit match up to $100. Underdog is exclusively giving this offer to new customers only. Claim your mystery pick'em special plus a deposit match of up to $100. All you need to do is sign up on Underdog, make a deposit, and head to the lobby to find out which player special you received. And with that in mind, Underdog, Jeff, what are you looking at? I know you had an Underdog special that you're going to share with us.
Yeah, so I have I put one in. We do a pick'ems segment on our show every Wednesday night, and the one we got this week, a couple guys we talked about today. So I'm high on Javonte Williams this week. He's kind of my guy. I got him into DFS lineup. I think this is his breakout week for the season. He's playing against Miami, who are absolutely trash against the run. So I got Javonte Williams higher 65.5 total yards. So passing and rush. I'm sorry, receiving and rushing. I have Jerome Ford lower than 60.5 total yards for the reasons we mentioned earlier. He's playing against an elite defense, an elite run defense. I don't think Jerome Ford gets there to 60.5. And then they have this new promo. They're calling it like a spicy promo where you can get 1.5 times the value for playing a guy. So one of the spicy picks was Russell Wilson higher on 1.5 passing touchdowns. So I took the higher on that one. I think he gets 2 touchdowns today. It's going to be a high-scoring game. They're playing in Miami. I think they're going to have to pass the ball to keep up. And I think Javonte Williams might be one of those recipients of the passing touchdown because he's getting involved in the passing game a lot as well. So that's my underdog bet there. So again, Javonte Williams higher, 65.5 total yards. Jerome Ford lower, 60.5 total yards. And Russell Wilson 1.5 passing touchdowns higher.
I like that.
I like it, man.
I like that a lot.
I got Javonte in every single one of my DFS lineups.
Yeah.
Especially with Russell Wilson as well, even if you're like me where you're a little bit nervous about maybe a sacking of, being relegated to the bench. I still see him throwing 2 passing touchdowns. I could see it being a 2 touchdowns and then like a third pick is finally they pull the plug. But I mean, they're going to have to be slinging the rock around to keep up with Miami. I mean, Tua's out there, Tyreek, Waddle. Waddle's out though, but still, Tyreek is enough. It doesn't really. Tyreek is enough.
Devin Achane, just to kind of go on some bold takes today, I think Devin Achane actually helps fill in the role for Waddle a little bit. I think we'll see him in the slot. I don't suggest playing him in DFS or in fantasy football, but I think Devin Achane is going to be used a lot more this week. So if you're an Achane truther, be on the lookout for that. And then 2 other things I wanted to mention before we get out. I had a couple other bold takes. Taysom Hill scores 2 touchdowns today.
Yes.
I think DFS-wise, I've got him in a couple of lineups. I think Kendra Miller is there, but they're going to find ways to get Taysom Hill involved. He had 9 carries last week. So Taysom Hill. I already mentioned Javonte Williams' breakout game. And then I just wanted to mention as a tight end, Cole Turner. Remember that name. He's supposedly the third-string tight end for the Washington Commanders. But Logan Thomas is out. Cole Turner is the better pass catcher between him and John Bates, and he's also a lot more athletic. He had a screen pass last week that he could have taken to the house if he had not tripped over his own feet. That I think they're going to find a way to get him the ball today. And I got Cole Turner in some of my DFS lineups as a punt, so just a name to kind of keep an eye on.
I like it. I just realized I have a very scary start sit that we need to address right now because I think I might just put in Michael Carter just so I don't have to pick one of these two. Antonio Gibson or Tony Jones. I do also have the option of Latavius Murray, but I think that was just kind of I'm not really trusting that he gets anything more than a couple goal line carries.
Just in a little emoji white flag, give up because that's no. Of those two guys, I guess I'm going to go Antonio Gibson. I don't love it. I know we talked up Brian Robinson. Antonio Gibson's not been very good.
Oh, he's been awful. It's been brutal to watch.
But of those guys, he's the one I would play. I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough decision. It's basically flip a coin and pick the worst of two evils.
Yeah, like the analogy I gave last week. It's like asking me if I want a colonoscopy or an endoscopy right now. It's like prefer neither. Yeah. Now that's before we go anywhere else, Jamie, how about you tell everyone where they can find you?
Yeah, on Twitter, X Jamie Perogue. I'm also on Tuesday night GoingFor2 cheat sheet, and right here every Sunday morning.
And thank you. And Jeff, glad to have you. Long overdue, a year in the making now of finally getting you on here. Tough to get. Father, husband, employee. I hear a lot of those things take time, so I understand. But hopefully we'll have you back on again. But please, tell people where they can find you, where they can find your show, and all that.
Right. You can find me on Twitter at Jeff Lambert77. Of course, you can find me every Wednesday night right here on this network on the GoingFor2 Live Armchair Fantasy Show with me and Ryan Steerfoss. And then on Friday nights at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are doing our DFS show. Me and Tim. Unfortunately, Gerson had to retire from the podcasting game, but we have a new guest on every week now. So me, Tim, and a guest. So if you're into DFS, we have in week one, we had a 100K winner. One of our longtime listeners that's been he's always in the show chat. And in week one, it was funny. He was blowing up the chat about going with New Orleans Saints and Saints this and Saints that. He's a big Saints fan. And sure enough, the lineup that won him 100K was a Saints stack that he put in there and won 100K. So it's pretty cool to have someone in there. But yeah, it's a great show, guys. We have a lot of fun. So if you're into DFS, come check us out.
That's what a win. That's what dreams are made of right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and thank you for coming on, Jeff. Definitely go check out those shows, though. You will not be disappointed. You can find me on Twitter at Behind the Zach. Otherwise, you'll find me bouncing around GoingFor2 from time to time, and otherwise every here Sunday morning with Jamie and some different guests depending on the week. But with that in mind, good luck this week. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully there's not any more dramatic injuries that screw up our fantasy lineups any more than they already have. But thank you, good luck, and have a good day.